call the roll, but
Oh, I'm a little busy right now. Just hang on a second.
put in my place.
Walking out on.
I didn't mean it that way. I'm just saying. I hope.
That's the way I came across to him.
One walks away from you, and the other.
Madam Clerk, are you
sir.
available?
I am. I'm ready.
Could you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Abraham,
Present.
Commissioner Galt,
Present.
Commissioner Kaler,
Present.
Commissioner Watkins,
Present.
Mayor Paxton.
Present. We're just having some fun over here. Don't, just nobody's upset. Again, we have Gina Brock from Emmanuel Baptist Church, Associate Minister, with us tonight to give our invocation. So I will ask everybody to stand for Gina's invocation, and then I'd like to ask Commissioner Kaler to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And
Let us pray together. Gracious and life-giving God, we take a moment to be still and know that you are God. In this moment, we respond with gratefulness. Gratefulness for your presence and for the people who stand before you in this room, our community leaders. As they work to discern what is best for Paducah, grant them wisdom and foresight in abundance. And as they give their best to us and to you, help us, the people of Paducah, support them and do what we can to help them, that Paducah may be a place where goodness and justice flourish. Amen.
Amen. And we have lots of flags here. We'll look at those flags instead of the one behind us. How about
And
that?
I'd just like to say that tonight this pledge is in honor of our veterans that have given so much. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. City Manager, any additions or deletions?
We're going to remove item 2A from the agenda.
Okay, thank you. We will start the show, and we're gonna start it with a proclamation. Thank a Veteran Month, and Sandy, if you'll bring whomever's going to receive this to the podium, then I will read the proclamation, and we will present it to you.
Your day, your month.
Takes a woman to get everybody organized. I got lots of them up here.
Could I say something before you start?
Yes,
These
ma'am.
are not just men holding the flags. Those are the Patriot Guard riders who do all the amazing things at the funerals of our military that we've lost. And they've gone even farther with the crazy loons from Kansas, but I won't go into that. But anyway, they do an amazing work, and they did stuff out at the opening of the museum. So I want to acknowledge them special being here today.
Great, great. Welcome, men. Good to have you. To all to whom these presents shall come, whereas this is the 71st anniversary of America entering into World War II, and whereas in appreciation of the Kentucky World War II veterans who are celebrating the 8th anniversary of the WW2 DC trip, and whereas they will gather together to commemorate and honor those serving now and all who never returned, as well as the ones who have passed on through the years. And whereas they have chosen to celebrate in Western Kentucky during the month of May, and whereas they have asked all Kentuckians to honor all veterans and enjoin them for a month of sharing, and whereas this celebration will also mark the the 67th year since the end of World War II and the victory against tyranny. Now, therefore, I, Bill Paxton, Mayor of the City of Paducah, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2012 as Thank a Veteran Month. And I encourage all citizens to join in this celebration and show all veterans just how much they are appreciated. So, it is my honor
We have 2 World War II veterans here.
Okay.
This is their idea to share it with the other veterans. I thought you'd like to start with them.
Good to meet you. Who's the other one?
Oh, they're both
Oh,
World
right
War
here.
II.
Right. Okay.
We're the old codgers.
All right. All right. Well, it is my honor as mayor to present you with Thank a Veteran Month proclamation. And we will give it to both of you all to use.
Well, you hold on to it because I got to hug him.
And
Oh, boy.
We're
All
going to
right.
miss you, Mayor. You've been honorable to me and my ideas for 9 years now. And you have proclaimed, first Thank a Veteran Week and now Thank a Veteran Month for 8 years of it. And I can't thank you enough. And I can't thank Paducah enough. I had said recently that everybody keeps saying, even on the news, that Sandy single-handedly. Nobody in this life ever single-handedly did anything. God's at the beginning of everything. And volunteers, yay volunteers. But the city of Paducah, the media, the people, Western Kentucky, over 85% of that money was raised here in Western Kentucky, mostly stemming from the enthusiasm of Paducah. So I can't begin to thank you all enough. And come out and see the museum. You got to come see the museum.
We thank y'all.
I want to say one more thing. We have our brand new West Kentucky Marine Corps League. If we have any Marines or you have any in your family, connect them with the Marine Corps League.
yeah, I just want to, before you all get away, to announce that the Korean War Memorial will be starting Monday. And Commissioner Kaler, you want to elaborate on that?
Dedication is planned for Memorial Day, and I don't have the time on that yet, but it will be that day.
Instruction begins Monday.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting things going on. Thank you all very much.
Thank y'all very much
You
for
gonna
coming.
take your troops and leave?
That's right.
We appreciate your service.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All over there. Okay. Real. Is that right? Wow. Cool.
Okay, we have Pam Spencer here tonight, and she's going to talk about an award-winning marketing campaign. Pam?
Mayor, I know you've been excited for this presentation.
I
This
have.
has started, this is a marketing campaign to celebrate Paducah and the recent awards that the city has earned, has achieved, and it's called Celebrating Excellence. And I have a little presentation to explain how this campaign is going to work. Well, why do we need an award-winning marketing campaign, award-winning Paducah? There have been several national awards that Paducah has achieved in the past year. The dozen distinctive destinations, and then the community pulling together to do the online voting and to become the fan favorite. 100 Best Communities for Young People, 2011 Chamber of the Year Award, and the top 5 community college finalists with distinction by the Aspen Institute for WKCTC. Those are the 4 big national awards that the city of Paducah has won over the past year. There have been other awards, but those are the 4 really big ones. So when you have that kind of situation, you need to do something with it. So the first thing, the mayor brought this to the Convention and Visitors Bureau and talked to me late last year about what can we do to publicize the fact that the city has achieved these type of awards. Well, the first thing that needed to be done was pull a committee of some of the local PR people together. So there's a committee of 4, Rosemarie Steele with the Paducah Convention and Visitors Bureau, Terry Reeves, he's got a lot of experience in business knowledge, he's with Entre Paducah, Janet Blythe is the Public Relations and Communications Coordinator for the college, and me. So we've been meeting over the last few months to try to determine how do you market something that is so unique in the fact that we have 4 large awards that have very different audience bases, as well as they're just so different, but yet they're all about Paducah. And that was a big challenge to try to figure out what is the venue to market something like this. So we decided to look at a campaign that would publicize the success but could grow. Paducah's not stagnant. Paducah's going to keep achieving awards, so we didn't want this to be a one-time deal. We wanted something that could keep growing as the city earns awards and as various organizations achieve awards. So that was the challenge. We came up with a message, which is basically like a mission statement. Paducah celebrates the creative spirit in its citizens and visitors. This award-winning city embraces youth opportunities, college excellence, business achievements, and historic preservation. Those 2 sentences say everything about Paducah and encompass those 4 big awards. So we came up with a plan. Well, the first thing, after meeting several times and going back and forth about how are we going to approach this, we did develop a marketing plan, put it on paper. We have a communications plan put together. That was phase 1. Phase 2, you need tools. If you're going to market something, you need to have tools and figure out how you're going to do this. We needed a logo. That logo that you see in the top part of the screen, that's the logo that we settled on, something that doesn't compete really with other logos. A lot of corporations don't use those colors. Those are kind of award-winning colors when you have the red, the yellow, the white, and the black. So we picked a logo that we thought wouldn't conflict but yet would stand out. Develop a comprehensive website, awardwinningpaducah.com. It's not eligible for anybody to see it yet in the public because we're still working on it, but you'll get to see it in just a few minutes. It's in its final stages. We're to the point now where we're just making some edits to text and making it look just the way we want it to. The second phase, which is going along with the third phase, which is going along with this second phase, is to create an electronic media kit. We have the logo. We need to have some standards for that image so that the logo isn't morphed or changed in some way. Maybe do a QR code, which a QR code is that little square barcode that you see on a lot of advertisements, and if you use a smartphone and then scan it, it will take you immediately to a website. Those are called QR codes. If you look around a lot of advertising, you'll see those little square, weird-looking barcode things. And then a draft news release that would be an all-encompassing news release that would promote Paducah, but then allow a company to put their own information in there. Kind of like a news release that anybody could use. Draft it to however they want to use it. We figure if we're going to pull all kinds of corporations on board in this, we need to do some work for them to make it easy for them. And then the final stage is to invite businesses, industries, organizations to promote themselves and at the same time promote Paducah. So here's how it would work. Here's an example. If you had a local marine industry won a National Environmental Sustainability Award, that happened last year. One of our local river industries did win a national award. Well, what they would do is send out a news release or use the draft one that we've put together, put their own little information in there that mentions the award-winning Paducah website. They could also advertise their ad in some sort of river industry journal, whatever their audience would be. They could say that they won this award, also use our logo that we've created for the entire city and the award-winning Paducah website. Put that in the ad. In return, their information is posted on that website. And when you go to that website, you'll see that company's information in addition to all the other awards that Paducah has won. So we were trying to make it to where you scratch our back, we'll scratch your back, and everybody's going to win because everybody's going to get some attention. It benefits the company because they're promoting themselves, and then the entire city would be promoted in the same way. It shows our unity and it shows our pride. And we looked around, we haven't found another city that is doing something like this with promoting all types of awards in one location. So this is the interesting part. This is the website. Let me see if I can get the link to work here. This is not available to the public yet. We're using a local company to build this. And it's a very simple website in what it has on it. We didn't want to clutter it with too much stuff, but the creation of it it's got some, as they say, the back end of it takes some work. If you scroll down, I'll have a little bit of information, some text there that explains what's going on. It's got a bunch of logos, and then if you start grabbing onto that little hand there and scrolling across there, the 4 big awards that have been won by the city are right there. Click on any award. Let me get one to stop here. And it will take you to the information about that award. It'll take you to the news release about it, just some various information that you would see about that award. Okay, let me see if I can get out of that page. And at the very top of the page, you see the About Us. That would link to the main logo, the award-winning Paducah logo, and it's going to have some additional information. This is still kind of a rough draft here, and it's going to explain what the committee has been doing, what's the purpose, and what Paducah has to offer. It'll have just a generic contact page right there at the top, and that would be for people to ask questions, contact the committee that has put this together. The committee will have access to edit this whole website, so the 4 committee members will have access. And then this is the interesting part, submit your award. This is the page that we want local businesses to use. Put in their name, put in their company information, and if they've won a state or national award, which I'm grabbing the wrong thing there, submit that to us. Let us see what you've won. If you've got a national logo that goes with it, let us know. That will go to the committee, and then the committee will decide how to use that on this website. If it's a large national award, we'll put it on that home page where everybody can scroll through and see it too. So this is a website that's taken a little bit to build on the back end, but we'll be able to change it, we'll be able to morph it, we'll be able to add to it, move things around, and promote Paducah in one way. So we're on the phase to where we're trying to finish the tools, and then we'll go out to promote the tools, and hopefully industries, say like CSI, Crounce, all these bigger industries that win a lot of awards can tap into this and promote themselves, and then in the process, Paducah will be seen in some different venues. So, Mayor, Commissioner,
So how do you get the word out that they need to go to the website and they need to?
We're going to work with the chamber to talk to all their partners. Terry Reeves has already said that he's going to work hard to work with all the economic development organizations in town, really get like Bill Beasley, get Paducah Economic Development, everybody on board in using the logo. He's been a big part of this whole campaign. So I think it's one of those things that might take a little while to get off the ground, but once it starts, I think a lot of businesses would be interested saying, I want to be a part of this. I want to be on that website. I want to be promoted in this way. And since we have the tools of a news release, a logo, and a website already done for them, they just have to tap into it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of places don't have a PR department, and
Right.
they're not used to writing news releases and promoting themselves. If we can give them the tools, then they just have to ask.
Well, Pam's right. Paducah has won a lot of awards. It makes us a better city. It could help us recruit industry. It could help us accomplish a lot of things. So we need to get the word out. We need to tell people what we've done. And you don't win the awards that we've won without being an exceptional city. It just doesn't happen. So how can we best use that to build on our success? Yeah. And that was a challenge that I gave Pam and with Dr. Veazey's support and a lot of other support. And so this is exciting, Pam. I think we're on the right track.
Well, thank you. It's been a challenge because at the beginning, when the group of us would meet, the avenues that they would want to promote themselves were all different. With the
Yeah.
college, their audience is different than, say, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we could never agree on, say, one place to advertise. And then we looked at some advertising rates. A half page in USA Today is like $129,000. So we figured we're not going to be able to advertise in some of these big places. We need to really pull everybody together, and then as a company advertises, say, in the Waterways Journal, which is very affordable, then everybody else can get promoted at the same time.
Yeah, Rich.
It's sometimes when we talk about the city winning these awards, it's almost like the city of Paducah is separate from the many workers that make it what it is. And what I mean is, all of those individual efforts that went into the Chamber of the Year, distinct destinations, top 5 junior colleges in the country, all of those folks worked individually, working on what they were doing. The Marine, the awards that are individual businesses, they win, it all just rotates around each other. And the mayor, you're right. Paducah has a lot of talented people. It's a great place to be. But when you look around, if those folks aren't doing what they're doing at that level, then we never get these awards.
That's right.
So it's sometimes when you hear the city of Paducah, it's like it's a separate entity from its people, but it's not really. You know, so it's a great idea, and it's easy access, it's simple, and it's self-promoting. So I applaud you on that. It's a great idea, Mayor. That was a good
Commissioner.
idea.
Thank you, Mayor. Great job, Pam. Your committee did a wonderful job, and y'all are right. Paducah is a shining city on a hill, and we want the world to know that. And one thing I was going to mention, though, and you'd want to clear it with the president's office at the college, and you know, we were named a top 5 community college out of 1,200 over in the entire country, but actually we were told by the Aspen Institute that we did finish second to the college in Orlando, Florida. So I don't know if we can market that. You check and see, but we finished second.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dr. Veazey's been very supportive, and we've got to, if we're going to make hay on this, we've got to do it. We got to do it right away. I mean, pretty soon that's old news.
That's right.
And so whatever advantage we can gain from this over the next several months will be to our advantage. So
Not only that, but we can't rest on our laurels here because we have to keep getting more and more awards, you know, because those, like you said, are old news after a while. So maybe that will encourage people to continue to work toward that.
I think it will. I think it will.
okay, good job, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll head on into our official meeting. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that the reading of the minutes for March 10th, 17th, 2012 meeting be waived, and that the minutes of said meetings prepared by the city clerk be approved as written.
That should be April, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, questions? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. We have been asked that we move the item, I guess that's 5, the ordinances and adoptions, the ASME contract. We've got some people who need to get to another meeting. So what do we need to do here? All right, I move that the rules for conducting city commission meetings be suspended insofar as they are in conflict with the printed agenda for this meeting. Otherwise, the rules will remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. So, Commissioner Watkins, if you'll do the honor.
Okay. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract and all other documents relating to same between the City of Paducah and American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, Local 1586. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a contract and all other documents relating to same between the City of Paducah and American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, Local 1586, which will expire June 30th, 2015.
Second.
Okay, Mr. City Manager, you want to respond on that?
Well, we made several comments on this last meeting. It's a 3-year contract, and negotiations went smoothly, which was a credit to both parties. So we look forward to a continuation of good and harmonious relationships, productive relationships between the city and these employee groups, and a continued harmony and conviction to labor on behalf of the people of Paducah. So we're very happy to have a 3-year contract, as I believe is the leadership of the union, and on behalf of the city, I want to express our appreciation again to the union leadership and the membership for ratifying the contract.
And as mayor, I know in this particular instance, we're talking about the ASME union and the contract. And I just want to say, I want to say thank you to the leadership of the union. We spoke on this last week, but we had a good team from the city working on it. We had a good team from the ASME union, and so good things happen when that comes together like that. So good job, guys, and we appreciate the hard work.
Thank you.
Is there an official signing document?
Yes, after we call the roll.
Okay, well, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt? Aye. Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye.
Can I have them up here?
Okay, well, come on up, man. Yeah, Cindy, why don't you join us, please?
You want to go over there?
You want to, why don't we do it right over there at the podium? Okay. All right, I'm signing in blue. Always takes a woman here to. Okay.
We getting your picture, Bo? Can we get in your picture?
Should I sign first or should they sign?
Well, why don't you let them sign first?
Murray Looper, President, if you'll
He's right behind you.
sign this, here you are. Yeah, come on down. Everybody come down.
You littler ones move to the front, sir. Or you won't be seen.
I'm not sure how we count Murray on the generation.
Is that because of the basketball game? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we got a couple witnesses.
There was another display in the lobby. I didn't know if you heard about that.
You've gotten to be this age and you can't sign a paper.
Got blue? Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly right. There you go.
Knew you were good for
I knew I was good for something.
Wasn't one of the bridesmaid dresses you were wearing.
I'm gonna take the right blanks.
Hey, just as long as I let it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
You look different Saturday.
And I want to thank everybody very much for cutting this short because I do have somewhere else to be.
Well, All right.
He has a Smurf convention or something.
You want everybody in front?
She needs to check.
All right.
Okay.
We'll get around there. Me and Richard to get on the end.
All right. Did you get everybody? Yeah.
Put the short one.
Everybody smile. All right, we're all happy. Congratulations. All right. Good job, guys.
Camera before she accused me of doing her pen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Mayor, did you get my other pen?
Yeah, it's right up here.
Thank you.
All right. Moving back to municipal orders. Commissioner Kaler.
Upon the recommendation of the city manager, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Paducah order that the personnel changes on the attached list be approved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. City Manager, any comments or?
I would answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the city manager? Pretty well speaks for itself. Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Watkins?
I like this award. It's for people my age. It says, I move that a municipal order entitled "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute an Application for a 2012 100 Best Communities for Young People Award through America's Promise Alliance" be adopted.
Second.
Okay, Pam, we're going to apply again.
Want to apply again. The early bird deadline is May 1st. The real deadline is May 17th. And the city manager asked me before, he's like, well, what new do we have in the city over the last year? We have a lot of new things. The work of the Impact Poverty Task Force, Scholar House, the Paducah Recreation Center, the new programs. There's a lot that's been going on in the city. And there was a lot of things that I didn't add in last year's application that maybe got a sentence that this year we can expand upon.
The Riverfront
The Riverfront Project.
project is back on go again. The Greenway Trail that is finally funded and ready to go.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And
The
when you
the
kind of look at it
hotel
all together.
possibilities.
I just didn't want her to miss anything. That's why
I know. I've been
Because we've
working
had
for
so
the past
much.
year. Every time I'd see a newspaper article that had anything to do with like youth, I've been trying to copy it, and I've got a file that's at least that thick.
Did we have the 2+2 with Murray State last year?
I had a paragraph about that, but I didn't put in the middle college. So this year I'm going to add the middle college in there. So there's a lot going on. A lot of these questions, there's 8 essay questions, and some of them are only 400 words. That is about a 1-page single-spaced. And there's a lot going on. Sometimes it's hard to trim in. Once I start writing and then I look back and I've got 600 words, and I have to cut.
Community scholarship.
Community scholarship was in there last year. I'm going to add it again this year because that shows the collaboration and the partnerships, because some of the questions have to do with partnerships. So there is actually a lot going on. The Chamber of Commerce started their brand new youth leadership program. That's a brand new thing that they just graduated the first group of students. So this community is impressive.
And how many cities have won that award more than once?
I'm trying to think how many years the award's been around. I don't know if this is the 5th or the 6th year. There are a few cities that have won it since the beginning.
So, you know, being overachievers.
But we just applied for the first time
Last
year. Yeah. Thank you, Pam.
Welcome.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. And just for the record, Commissioner Watkins, young people don't limp.
I'm old and broken down. I'm afraid somebody's going to shoot me. That's what they do to old broken down horses, and so I'm trying to be careful.
All right, Commissioner Abraham.
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing and Directing the Finance Director to Transfer $10,500 from the Commission contingency to the Paducah Renaissance Alliance Economic Recruitment Account for the 2012 Lowertown Arts and Music Festival, and to transfer $44,500 from the Commission contingency to the Noble Park Pool Renovation Project account for additional engineering services for the Noble Park Pool Renovation Project be adopted."
Second.
Okay, Lisa, we'll start with the Art and Music Festival.
Mayor, Commissioners, we have in our PRA budget for this year $5,000 for the Lowertown neighborhood, Lowertown Arts and Music Festival, and we would like to give them $15,500 to perform that arts festival for us in May, which will require a $10,000 500 transfer from your contingency fund to the PRA budget so we can fund them at the full amount.
And that was the same amount that we funded them last year, right? Except for the $500.
It is actually slightly less than we funded them last year.
It is slightly
sir.
less?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Any questions for Lisa? I've noticed the billboards up, coming
Yes,
in
coming
60.
into town, yes.
Talking about the Art and Music Festival, so things are moving forward.
Yeah, apparently they have a lot more artists that have registered this year to participate, so I think it's really going to be a great performance.
Yeah. New bands.
New bands, yeah, so
Yeah.
they're all very excited. Very excited.
Didn't the attendance top 15,000 last year? It
I
seemed like,
believe that it did, yes, sir.
seemed like it was a little over 15,000 people. It just keeps growing every year.
It does, it does. And I think that, you know, I attached to the action form was their 990 from the nonprofit, so you'll be able to see that they've actually been doing quite well, which is why that we can sort of back off a little bit on our funding request to them, but not hurt the festival at all.
Well, when you have more artists that are signing up to come and having a vendor spot, that's a good sign because obviously the word's gotten out that you can make money in Paducah by coming in and being a vendor, and that's a good thing. So
it is.
Are we asking them to match what we give them?
No, they do raise money though from sponsors in the community.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Paducah Bank gives them a nice. I have sent out letters to the private sector and have raised a pretty decent amount of money, and so yeah, they are doing that on their own. Now it's not worded as a match, but they'll probably end up raising more than that amount by the time it's over with. When you say
Yeah, the income for the event's about $90,000. So, you know, this 15.5 is just a fraction of what they actually bring
Yeah.
in.
well, they get money from the vendors and
They do, right, and
things.
that includes that money.
right,
Yeah, but it also takes a lot of money to put the festival
Right.
on. So,
right.
yeah.
And that was the part that was a little confusing for me because the 990 was for the Lowertown Renaissance Association, and all the money doesn't flow through the Lowertown Renaissance Association, does it?
It does, yes.
So that dollar amount that I'm seeing there includes all the money for the festival.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, Noble Park Pool, good evening.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good, good.
We are just waiting for this transfer will allow us to be able to start more than just the preliminary phase with the contracted engineers to start the design. So,
Okay. Any questions on that?
No questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Galt?
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute an Application for a Fire Prevention and Safety Grant through the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency, in the amount of $80,000 for funding to be used for the hiring of a deputy fire marshal and educational materials and training," be adopted.
Second.
Okay, Chief, what do we got?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. The application you have before you is just for funding for a position. It is a 90-10 match. So the position, that would include funding for a year for us to have a person to do those services.
Okay. Any
Is this
questions?
only for 1 year?
The grant is only for 1 year, that is
What
correct.
about the person?
The person would be a long-term. It is for a current position that we have vacant that is not filled that we'd be using the grant for to fund it for a year, get a year's worth of funding out of it before we have to staff it ourselves.
Someone we would hire anyway, then, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's a good point, Commissioner Kaler. Good. Any other questions? Okay, Chief.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. Commissioner Kaler?
I move that a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute an Application and All Documents Necessary for a Reimbursement Grant in the amount of $54,203 through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety for specific traffic enforcement and equipment for the Paducah Police Department," be adopted.
Second.
Hello, Chief.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager.
What do we have here?
This is just basically the annual grant that we apply for, and we usually apply for $50-some thousand. We may get usually $60-some thousand. We may get more, usually less, but we just apply for the sky and hopefully see what happens.
Always good idea.
Yes, and we'll probably get some will be over for overtime, traffic enforcement, and some will be for more in-car cameras.
Any questions for the Chief? You know, I was driving up Kentucky Avenue and I had to get my phone out of my coat, so I had to take my seatbelt off. And so the phone rang and I answered it, and I look in the back and there's a policeman right behind me, and I'm reaching trying to get my seatbelt back on.
No seatbelt and texting.
Yeah. Well, no, I was actually talking on the phone. So I must have dodged a bullet that night. So.
I appreciate that, because when I came here, we were at 50-some%. We're now about 82, so I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, good.
Chief, are these in-car cameras that we'll get with this grant something that we would probably purchase anyway?
Yes, because what we want to do is we want to have the capability of all the cars having in-car cameras and audio, so anytime we make a traffic stop, everything is pretty much recorded.
How many more do we need?
I think we might need about 12. I think about a dozen more of them, if I'm not mistaken.
How many will we get with this grant?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it depends on sometimes whether or not there's the cost factor.
Okay. Well, this is, and maybe we could talk about that later.
Yeah, because one of the issues that we have is that the remaining ones are VHS. It's hard to find a VHS tape anymore.
So we're doing digital.
Yes, we're going digital.
Okay.
So about 60 of the patrol cars have a camera at this point then, is that right?
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
We've done pretty well so far.
Chief, there was a article in Posh magazine this morning that was in the paper, and it talked about, this particular article talked about young people that are moving here, and it interviewed these people and why they moved here, and one of the men said the safety, how safe Paducah is, was a big part of why he moved here. So people people understand the good job you are doing in making our community safe. And so please extend that to your men.
And it's the same thing also with businesses and economic development. When the companies are doing their marketing surveys and they're looking at whether or not that community is safe, whether or not the schools are good for the employees, they will come to that, move to that community if it's safe.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of different items. You're right, but safety is a big one.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Watkins.
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to obtain a grant in the amount of $5,200 from the Purchase Area Development District to be used for construction of a dog park to be located in Stuart Nelson Park be adopted.
Second.
Okay, Steve.
I think that pretty much says it. We have $5,200 available, and we want to use that for the dog park. So.
Any questions for Steve on that?
We're going to move forward with the construction, right? Is there a ribbon cutting date or?
I would not have that information. I'm sure the Parks Department would.
I guess we need to start out with a groundbreaking, and then
First of all, we need a plan.
Need a plan. So it's a little premature, though.
We have a tentative date for May 11th.
Okay.
For groundbreaking.
Oh.
That's tentative though, so.
Okay.
It requires 5 dogs and 5 hydrants, right?
You know, I will say that when I've talked with Patience Renzulli and, you know, with the Kennel Club, that's one of the first thing that young people ask when they move to a community, they're thinking about moving to a community, is do you have a dog park? Because living in the city and we have leash laws, you can't let your dog get the exercise, and it's a great place to socialize as well. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you. Madam Clerk? Oh, excuse me.
Well, I'm just excited about it because it can pump some life back into Stuart Nelson Park.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's a good thing.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order approving the sale of real property located at 705 South 11th Street for and in consideration of $1,500 to John Biles be adopted.
Second.
Okay.
The next 3 municipal orders are number 18, 19, and 20 of surplus properties that we've transferred since we did the inventory several years ago. So we're quite excited. This is actually we took the entire list of the properties we have left. We mailed out to the adjacent property owners, the ones that did not have liens against their property or any type of, and had current taxes. And out of the 15 or so that we sent out, 3 of the adjacent property owners wanted to purchase the property. So this is the final stage before actually, on May 6th, we're going to have an advertisement in the newspaper listing the rest of the properties and soliciting bids. So we're getting there.
Good.
If I could ask,
Sure.
Steve, how many did you say this was the what?
20th.
20th?
These 3 make 20.
And just, wow, since it's gone on website.
Yeah, I think it's probably been a couple of years, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably about 2 years. That's great. And how many more do we have left? Do you have any idea?
We have 35.
35 more properties. So public out there, if you city-owned property for sale, cheap.
Certainly. PaducaKY.gov, there's a link to surplus properties. And then on May 6th, in the Sunday edition of the newspaper, we'll have all the properties listed and then the directions to submit a bid.
Good, good.
Good. Thank you, Steve. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Galt?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order approving the sale of real property located at 1110 Bell Avenue for and in consideration of $506 to Vicky Counts be adopted.
Second.
Okay, same thing. So any questions on that one? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler?
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins?
Aye.
Mayor Paxton?
Aye. Commissioner Kaler?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order approving the sale of real property located at 233 Hayes Avenue for and in consideration of $1,000 to David Michael Dean be adopted.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. Good job on this, Steve.
Thank you.
Ordinances and adoptions, we have talked about these past meetings, so we don't spend a whole lot of time on this. And we will go to B. Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 6, Alcohol Beverages of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paducah. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah hereby mandates that all persons employed to sell alcohol beverages by the drink, those participating in selling and serving of or taking orders for alcoholic beverages, complete a city-approved responsible beverage training program. Further, all license holders employing persons required to complete training shall be responsible for all employees completing their training within 90 days of the adoption of this ordinance. Following the 90-day grace period for compliance, any new employee shall have the required training within 60 days after employment. All persons completing the training required by this section shall be recertified in responsible beverage service training by a city-approved program no less than once every 3 years thereafter.
Second.
Excellent program, and I think we're a better city for doing it. So, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. Commissioner Galt?
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the City of Paducah to satisfy an order of the court awarding attorney's fees and expenses to counsel for plaintiffs in Barry Carter et al. Versus the City of Paducah, Kentucky, McCracken Circuit Court Civil Action Number 06CI-00072 in the aggregate sum of $121,854. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The city's finance director is hereby authorized and directed to expend funds to satisfy the order awarding attorney's fees in full for the aggregate amount of $121,854. Payment shall be made to the law firm of Woodley and McGillivray, counsel of record for the plaintiffs in Barry Carter et al. Versus the City of Paducah, Kentucky, McCracken Circuit Court Civil Action 06-CI-00072.
Second.
We all know what this is, and we've talked about it often. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. Commissioner Kaler?
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2011-67825, entitled, an ordinance adopting the City of Paducah, Kentucky annual budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2011 through June 30th, 2012, by estimating the revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the City of Paducah's annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2011 and ending June 30th, 2012 be amended by a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $1,582,680 to Fire Department line item.
Second.
Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Watkins,
Aye.
Mayor Paxton.
Aye. Commissioner Watkins, ordinances and introductions.
Alrighty, I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with the Paducah-McCracken County Convention and Visitors Bureau for specific services. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute a contract with the Paducah-McCracken County Convention and Visitors Bureau in the amount of $25,000 as a match for a state tourism grant, and to be used for marketing and promoting events and venues related to the American Quilter Society's show. This contract shall expire June 30th, 2012.
Second.
Okay, the quilters are here. They are on the streets. They're going to our restaurants. They're filling up our hotels. They're going into our retail stores. It's Christmas in April. The Quilt Convention is a huge boom for Paducah, McCracken County, the entire region. The city participates with the Tourism Bureau and the state in order to give the quilt show incentives in order to help them stay in Paducah and continue to grow and prosper. It is money well spent, and we are happy to participate in this. And I can't remember how many years that we've been doing this, but it's several. Can you remember, Carol?
I really can't.
Yeah.
It is several.
Yeah. Any questions?
Mayor, I'd just like to say when you can spend $25,000 and help facilitate this type of convention and bring in, 40,000 people to our community, it's a very positive thing.
Very positive. You've got the Carson Center packed tonight with their kickoff. Those people are going to be eating at the restaurants before they go. The town is a better city because of that quilt show. So we're happy to participate. Thank you all. Commissioner Abraham?
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance approving Amendment 1, concession and spray pad to the agreement with Florence and Hutchinson Incorporated for professional engineering services associated with the Noble Park Pool renovation project and authorize the mayor to execute Addendum 1. This ordinance is summarized as follows. That the City of Paducah hereby approves Addendum 1, concessions and spray pad with Florence and Hutchinson Incorporated in the amount of $44,500 for additional professional engineering services for Noble Park Pool renovation project, increasing the total contract amount to $143,200 and authorizes the mayor to execute the approved Addendum 1 with Florence and Hutchinson Incorporated.
Second.
Okay.
I have a couple of guys here from Florence and Hutchinson with me tonight, Jason Peterson and Chad McCann, who are both working on the project for us. This money will go to pay towards the engineering services to develop the spray pad, renovate the concession stand, and possibly add a kitchen in the concession stand.
Okay. Any questions for Florence and Hutchinson or Parks Department?
Well, I'm more in favor of option 2. The construction could be reduced by $30,000 to $275,000, and the engineering by $1,600 to $42,900 if the concession service is reduced to a non-cooking facility. Because I think there could be lots of food items there. I mean,
right.
How long are people there during the day?
Just 6 hours maximum. Right now the facility is microwave, like prepackaged items only, and so the renovation would just allow us to continue to do that. Adding the grill and such would allow us to do hamburgers and hot dogs and that sort of thing. And I think they did put that in as an alternate that we can determine later if we wanted to add that or not. So.
Amy, would the full concession with the cooking facilities or staff from Florence and Hutchinson involve the knocking out of the wall into the old heater room that's adjacent to that, and then the removal of that tank, which amazingly have both been in their former condition for how long? Many years, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions for Florence and Hutchinson or Amy? Commissioner Kaler, have you got anything else you want to say?
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers, the amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's something we'll talk about more.
Mm-hmm. We will. All right, well, guys, appreciate the good work on that. It's a difficult task. We know that. So thank you, Amy, very much. Okay. Commissioner Galt?
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky approving an amended and restated memorandum of understanding by and among the City of Paducah, Kentucky and Higdon Development, Inc. and Greenway Village, LLC with respect to the residential development of vacant property within the corporate boundaries of the City of Paducah, and authorizing the execution of various documents related to such memorandum of understanding." This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance authorizes the City of Paducah, Kentucky to approve an amended and restated memorandum of understanding by and among the City of Paducah, Kentucky, Higdon Development, Inc., and its affiliate, Greenway Village, LLC, which outlines the terms of the development of a multifamily residential development upon real property owned by the developers and generally bounded by the County Park Road, Stuart Nelson Park Road, and Stuart Nelson Park in the City of Paducah, McCracken County. This ordinance approves the form of the amended and restated MOU presented by the Board of Commissioners of the City with such changes therein and shall not be adverse to the City and may be approved by the Mayor and City Clerk.
Second.
Okay, Steve.
Philip Higdon, also with Higdon Developments, here if there's any questions. But in general, what we're doing is requesting that we amend the original MOU that was adopted in February of 2011. That MOU at that time required the city and Higdon Development Corporation to enter into a letter of agreement by February of 2012. In that time, they were not able to get the final engineering approval completed. But within that time also, what they have done is completed their engineering design, and that has been approved by our engineering department. Approval of this tonight allows for 1 year for the developer to complete the construction of the roadway and sign a letter of agreement before February of 2013. An additional amendment to the original MOU is the south portion of the roadway was not a part of the agreement that we did last year. Higdon Development now is proposing to build condominiums on the south side of the roadway, which also the ad valorem property taxes from that development could also be used to pay down the infrastructure cost as part of the agreement. So that's in general what's happening.
Is there a downside to us doing this?
No, what I can say is if you've been out there, the development's happening.
Right.
The road's been roughed out. I think there's 3 structures, 12 plexes under construction right now, and they are moving forward. I would anticipate that the subdivision plat within the next month or 2 will be submitted. Planning Commission will approve it. Roadway construction will happen, and then we'll be coming back to the City Commission for acceptance of the roadway and that letter of agreement. But the development is moving forward.
But it's not inconveniencing anybody by the change in this. I mean, nobody's being inconvenienced because it's not completed. There's nobody out there yet.
No, there's not.
Okay.
And actually, by doing this, it moves us closer to the rest of the package.
Well, the actual letter of agreement, when the letter of agreement's signed sometime within the next year, that's when the 10-year starts.
Right.
But I'm kind
So
of...
the quicker we do that, the better, right?
That's correct.
Even us both.
And my thoughts are by adding the condominiums on the south side, by adding that ad valorem property tax back to the rebate, I think that'll actually happen quicker, that we'll be paying that off within the 10 years.
So
I'd just like to say to Philip that the development you have on Bleach Road, that's similar to what you'd be doing over there.
Which development are you talking about again?
Lakewood Villas. That would be similar.
On the south side of the road.
Yeah, and that's really nice. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine just moved there, and it's lovely.
Thank you. We're excited about it.
So those will certainly be a nice addition.
So the condominiums are new since.
That's correct.
That's something you've added, and like Steve said, that's a good thing because there'll be property taxes being paid on that, et cetera. So.
We just want to take advantage of the new dog park.
Absolutely. Well, you're going to have to build a bridge across that,
That's right.
the moat there.
Most of those dogs just swim across.
Okay.
Bill, would you want to take just a minute or two to tell the public what you're doing?
Well, we're doing a multifamily development that'll have high-end apartments and condominiums, and it'll take advantage of, obviously being on the Stuart Nelson Park, but also the Greenway Trail. So we think it's it's a niche that's not filled in Paducah, and that's what we're trying to do.
It'll have a lake, correct, and a clubhouse, and
Yeah, it'll have a clubhouse, a pool, and then weight facilities in the clubhouse, workout facilities, so sidewalks. It'll have it all in there.
And a moat.
And a moat.
Well, this is
Nice job.
exciting.
Good job.
All right, Philip, we're fine on this, so you keep up doing what you're doing, and it's an exciting project. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Can we come out sometime and look at it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I know construction sites, sometimes they really don't want you on there. Would we need to contact you if we wanted to come out and look?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It is gated at this point. We will be opening it when we get a little further along.
When will the
Well, in liability, you don't want.
Right.
when will the first units be ready, you think?
We're hoping by the end of June, 1st of July, somewhere in that area.
Might be better to wait till then, and where we can actually see a finished product.
Right, and we'll be putting streets in by then too, so you want it to get your car dirty.
When you think the time's right, why
Let
don't you
us know.
call Steve or Rick, and we'll put together a little tour, if you don't mind.
Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Philip. Okay, good job. Commissioner Kaler?
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Section 126-76-1, signs authorized for pop zone of Chapter 126 zoning of the Paducah Code of Ordinances. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that Article 3, General Regulations, Section 126-76-1, signs authorized for pop zone of Chapter 126 zoning of the Paducah Code of Ordinances is hereby amended to allow electronic message signs in the planned office park zone.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Greg Leneve has made a request to allow electronic message signs in the Information Age Park. He owns the Kentucky Publishing Company and wants to have a electronic message sign that kind of tells about what's going on within the community. That's his idea. Currently, it's not allowed in the POP zone. Electronic message signs are allowed in most industrial zones, commercial zones, and they're also allowed in residential zones when it's affiliated with a school.
Just be on his property, right?
That's correct, sir. And I have informed him also that you can't have off-premise advertising signs, so
We wouldn't want anything on 62. There, I wouldn't think. That's awfully.
it's on his property, that's correct.
Yeah.
But what this does, this is a text amendment for the entire Information Age Park, the POP zone. So
Everyone
another
there
business
could.
in that Information Age Park could utilize one of those signs.
The Planning Commission, what is that? it's
They voted
called-
4-3
They were
on
in
it.
favor, yeah.
They're in favor of it. Thoughts? Comments?
Have you gotten feedback did you get any feedback from the other people out there?
Yes, I did call Mr. Chad Chancellor and talk to him, and he said he has had conversations with other tenants within the Information Age Park, and they were favorable of it, or were going along with it.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody
No
had any
pushback?
problems with it?
I have not heard of any, sir, no.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's what matters. Good. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Watkins?
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance accepting the bid of Bluegrass Fire Equipment for the purchase of fire structural turnout gear for use by the fire department, and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. This ordinance is summarized as follows: authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Bluegrass Fire Equipment in the amount of $16,320 for fire structural turnout gear for use by the fire department.
Second.
Steve?
This is just a part of our annual purchase that we do each year for turnout gear replenishment of our personal protective equipment. Normally you would see actually you're probably going to see an amendment for this once it's awarded to buy more, because we got it at a much cheaper price than what we were anticipating. So we saved a lot of money this year on it, but we're going to use that money to dig into our stores a little bit to get our supply up where it needs to be.
Recent apartment fire demonstrated how important this gear is, didn't it?
It did indeed. It did indeed.
It was a dangerous situation that could have turned out much worse.
Unfortunately, everyone had their personal protective equipment on like they were supposed to, and we didn't have anyone injured.
Thank God for that.
Since he's wearing two hats, I just wanted to know what's going on with that building.
The property owner is going to take care of the demolition of the building, or at least that's the preliminary agreement that we've worked out. He's got to go through his insurance, and that's going to take a little bit of a process to get that taken care of. I haven't had an update on that in the last few days to know where he currently stands, but when we last talked with him, that is the plan for the property to be demolished, but after it goes through the channels to where he can actually take care of that, or the insurance company take care of it.
I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
Steve, again, just to be clear, the annual savings is how much from the current contract to your department?
For turnout gear?
For the, on this bid in total?
Yeah, well, it's not really an annual savings so much as last year we paid about $1,400 a set, $1,500 a set, and this year it was $1,000.
And you don't replace every set every year?
We don't know. Usually we're always behind. We just schedule typically
that's based
15
on
sets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance accepting the bid of Bluegrass Uniforms Incorporated for the purchase of uniforms for the fire department employees and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah accepts the bid of Bluegrass Uniforms Incorporated for the fire department uniform unit pieces contained in the bid dated April 10th, 2012 for a period of 2 years beginning upon execution of the contract and authorizes the mayor to execute said contract. Further, the contract may be renewable for an additional 2-year term.
Second.
Steve.
This is a uniform contract. We've not previously done this before. We've had one vendor for at least my entire tenure in the fire department that we've been using traditionally in an attempt to make sure we're getting fair market value and utilizing our funds to the best of our ability. We decided to bid the contract out, much like what the police department did a couple years ago. And at least on the face value of it, we found that there could be significant savings per person based on what you have in front of you there with $630 and change difference on the items that a firefighter would purchase over the span of a year.
But times 63 people, that was a savings of $40,000 a year.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
Pretty significant.
And, you know, I know we've had some pushback on this from some local vendors, but when you're saving that kind of money.
Yeah, you know, we want to buy local just like anyone else is, but I'm in an attempt to make sure I maintain as little budget as I can. I want to make sure I'm being a good steward of taxpayer dollars, and felt that the advertising of the contract for competitive bid would be the best avenue to ensure that. And as you can see, the result of it is showing some value.
If it had been close, it'd be easy to say, well, okay, we could go with the local, but it wasn't even close.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance accepting an extension of time granted by the U.S. Department of Justice for the 2009 COPS Hiring Recovery Program Grant Award number 2009 RKWX0377. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah hereby accepts the extension of time granted by the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services for the 2009 COPS Hiring Program Grant Award number 2009 RKWX0377 for the hiring of 3 police officers for 3 years. The new end date is December 31st, 2013.
Second.
Want to tell us about it?
Well, basically, we had one of our police officers that was hired on the CHIRP grant to leave. So rather than being in non-compliance with the grant and also leaving about $120-some thousand on the table, we asked for an extension on that to give us more time and be in compliance. Yeah.
Good common sense thing to do.
Yes.
Any questions, comments? All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
City Manager's report.
Thank you, Gail. Had a little workshop last week on a budget preview, and work continues. A lot of hard work going on at the department level and in the finance department, trying to allocate the resources judiciously and try to balance the budget in a condition where the expenses are increasing faster than the revenues. So a good effort being made, and I'm confident that we'll bring something forward to the commission that you will find to be thoughtful and worthy of your consideration. I do anticipate at a study session that we would bring some representatives of some of the larger recipients of our agency funding in to share with you a little bit about how they spend those monies and what their outlook would be for the following year. A couple other things going on, and I'm not sure if we're going to have a study session next Tuesday night or not. I'm not sure whether we could be ready with anything. We'll let you know shortly. A couple other things we're working on. I've mentioned at some point some time ago that I was interested in doing a community survey on city services as a way to begin a benchmarking process and gauge citizen satisfaction with our services. We are with the department heads studying that, and Pam Spencer is leading those efforts of working with the National Citizen Survey, which is a group that ICMA endorses that has done hundreds of these around the country. We are also doing an in-house webinar this Thursday on the subject matter of citizen surveys and why we would do them and what use we would make of those and so on and so forth. I wouldn't anticipate that we would launch something like this for a while and that results would be back until late fall or close to the end of the year, but I think it's a worthy thing to do. And it's something that with the electronic media that we have these days, that we have the ability to disseminate information from something like this throughout the community and beyond if we choose to do so. We'll be having discussions shortly with the county on the animal control matter. The city does have a contract with McCracken County that dates back, I believe, to 2004, where the two entities came together for the purposes of animal control. That contract at that time did anticipate confinement, processing of animals, adoption, those sort of things to be done by another agency. And now with the county having entered that realm, there's a need to take a look at that contract and see if we see our partnership continuing to actually include animal confinement. So again, I don't believe our current contract anticipated that, so there's some need to review it and perhaps modify it. I would anticipate some expense increases associated with that. Don't know what that might mean yet or how it might impact the budget, but we're in the process of taking a look at that to figure that out. So unless there are any questions, that's all I have.
I'd just like to segue onto what you were talking about with animal control. And of course, Chief Berry, I've talked to him on a couple of incidents here lately where animals have been tied up for long periods of time. We do have an ordinance against that. They cannot be tied up for 24 hours without shelter. And it's hard to get anything done about those. So that's a conversation I'd also like to have, because the way the ordinance is structured.
And people also need to know that they can't run loose either
Right.
in the city.
Well, just Mayor Pro Tem, I really am not happy with the whole situation, to be honest with you. The accountability is what those folks are doing. Are we getting the bang for the buck? A few other things. So we're looking at that now. The calls for service, what types of calls, number of calls we're getting. So we're looking into several of those things to make sure that we're getting what we're paying for.
The chief and I, we had a visit about this a week or so ago, and we both had maybe more experience in this area than we care to recount. But it is an agreement, again, that while it's a bilateral agreement between the city and the county, as I read that agreement, there's really not any accountability or communication or reporting worked into that. And I'm sure there were, reasons at the time why it was written the way it was. And as I understand it, the Humane Society has been the confinement and the animal control officer facility for that full amount of time. if I'm not mistaken. So there may have been accountability back to McCracken County from Humane Society, but at least by virtue of the contract, I don't know that there was to the city, and that's the point that the chief is raising. So as I continue discussions with the county, perhaps bring the chief into those, we'll be looking at those things. I think that agreement needs to be modernized. It doesn't fit the current setup or what would appear to be the direction that we may be headed on a countywide basis.
And I think from what we've seen with the county stepping up to the plate, that they want to do the right thing. So I think we're on the same page in that area. So we just need to get all the words worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. We sit down. What's in the best interest of taking care of the animals, and working out an agreement that, like the city manager said, that is relevant to the times that we're in now, rather than several years ago when it was first written.
Any other comments? All right. We don't have any public comments today, I believe. Are there any public comments? And we do not have an executive session, so meeting's adjourned.